They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and right now I'm holding beauty. And I'm Andy Hopper from Birmingham, Alabama, and I would love to be your 2013 Mayesh Design Star. Why would I like to be that? I would love to show you that education can be fun, creative, and inspirational. So I'm holding this beautiful bouquet of beautiful Campanella roses. They're yellow, as you can see. I'm also having yellow ranunculus, and I've taken apart these cymbidiums to make basically a collar of cymbidiums on the front and on the back. These gorgeous blooms are from Mayesh, and I hope you enjoy my how-to video of making this beautiful bouquet. Thank you, I'm Andy Hopper. I do a lot of weddings in Birmingham, and this is the first thing my bride sees. And you can have a beautiful ceremony, an amazing reception, but that first idea, that first glimpse of the day is made with your bouquet. With that being said, we're going to start this bouquet. The best part about this bouquet is the backside. The backside of that bouquet is absolutely gorgeous. It's prettier than the front almost, but not. But again, it's something different. We'll put this back down, and we're going to start the process of making this bouquet. I learned a trick years ago, and when you're designing, everything's been done and created. So your whole goal in life is to take an idea, tweak it a little bit, and make it your own. That's the best thing that you can do as a designer. Again, you're not creating something that's not been created before. Be that designer in yourself and actually take something that's been done, tweak it a little bit, and make it your own. Make it something you've already done, something you've already seen, but you can make it your own. It's your style now. It's yours. So I learned this a long time ago, so I'm taking these ends of ribbon. You see those. We get those all the time. I use lots of ribbon, so I have lots of these. So I've taken the little two ends off the ribbon, and I'm going to put them together, and I'm going to tape them. I started this one, and I'm going to tape it around the edge to make it stay together. And by making it stay together, it gives it the two sturdiness, and it's able to glue onto it. So I've taped the edges of this around here like so. Again, just making it sturdy, making it so it doesn't fall apart. Again, it's all about the detail. It's all about going the extra mile and creating something that's, you know, beautiful, but it's also very, very, very well put together. So when that's finished and you have that done, we're going to take and we're going to wrap the ribbon around this, basically, to create a nice, tailored looking round collar. And when it's done, it should look like this. So I have this really nicely put together round ring. And this ribbon cut, it's in the color of my flowers, and it's beautiful. And talking about color, we're doing a really monochromatic color scheme today. Monochromatic color schemes can be very sophisticated, very elegant to me. I think when girls have an odd color or they love a shade of some color, do it in a monochromatic style, then it makes it a little more sophisticated, a little more long-lasting, I guess. It looks a little more classic. So I'm taking this yellow ribbon, and I've covered it and made this ring. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take and glue beautiful cymbidiums around it. I'm using several things today. I'm using beautiful Campanella garden roses. I'm using gorgeous ranunculus. I'm doing also really beautiful cymbidiums. Cymbidiums are one of my favorite. They're hardy, they're beautiful, they're long lasting. You can hang them and put them anywhere. They can last without water. That's a big deal for me. When I'm designing, I want things that's going to last and things that's going to stand up with, withstand the heat. We have really hot summers here in the South, and flowers need to withstand, that grueling outdoor wedding ceremony. They need to withstand hours outside of water. So that is a great product to use to fill in to make, to have that long-lasting flower in a bouquet. So I think when you're gluing as a designer, a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't know about that glue, Andy. That glue doesn't last." I hear a lot of people say that, and I think when you're using glue, the reason it doesn't last or it doesn't hold up as well is because people do it too quickly. As you see, I've already started this process and I've already put half ring of glue on this one side of the ring of this collar, and I'm actually gluing individually the stems or the petals, not stems, but petals of the cymbidium. I believe the main reason that a lot of times that glue does not stick for people, or it messes up or something like that, they don't give it enough time to tack up. With this wonderful Oasis glue, you got to give it tack time. And just waiting a few minutes, letting it sit there. It's not going to dry. It actually gets more sticky when it is, when you are putting it together and letting it tack up for a few minutes. So I'm doing a bunch of these little petals, and I'm just doing the tips of them. I pull them apart, and if you look at the cymbidium, here's the cymbidium stem, or the bloom off a cymbidium. I'm pulling off, that's a shape petal, this shape petal, and this shape petal are all the same shape. So I'm putting them off to the side, and I'm also pulling off the two side petals as well. So they are a different shape. So I want to keep those separated so when I'm doing my bouquet, you have really nice consistency with your petaling. So we're basically making a composite, which has been around for a long, long time. Composites are were very popular a long time ago. They've come back in vogue the last couple of years. And you're basically making a composite collar for this bouquet. It's just a little bit of additive to make your bride say, wow, that's a beautiful detail, because it's all about that detail. And if you have a cost-conscious bride that can afford the cymbidium, then just use the beautiful collar. It's just another detail that sets you apart from everybody else. So we're gluing this down, and we're going to tack it up and just kind of keep the petals together in a nice, pretty shape all the way around, and just hold it there every once in a while just to make sure it's in place. And making sure it's in place, just holding on to it, just going around the side. And you're just putting them side by side. You're basically making the petals of a flower, so it's really easy. This is already done naturally. So if you keep doing this, you're just going around the whole outside of this whole ring, and we're just going to go around just gluing our petals on individually. And again, take your glue and put it on there and let it sit. Again, it's all about that tack time. You need that tack time to make this glue work. And this really is only about 5 heads of cymbidium, so it's really not a lot. It's not like as many as you think it's going to be, but again, it gives us this great petal feel. I mean, even that's beautiful. I even love that. It's just really, really pretty. It looks like a sunflower to me. So our next step is to take and do another row, and those guard petals that we saw off the side, the little funnier shape, the ones that are either side of the 3 petals that we pulled off, we're going to go inside with those and create another layer of flower for our composite piece. And those petals, like this petal right here, it's this petal that we saw earlier, this petal and this petal, is going to be the center of our composite, making the collar that we're working with. And these are the other ones that we used on the outside. Just put them to the side. We're going to do something with all of this. As you saw, the bottom is the throat of the orchid. And when you're doing this, go in between the 2 stems, or the 2 petals. If you're doing that, go in between it. So actually you have a good dynamic flow with your petals. It gives a little bit of visual depth to the piece. And you're just going to go around the edge of this, again, creating another layer of this composite almost collar. And again, this glue is very forgiving. If it starts to come apart, wait a few minutes and start all over again. Again, you're in charge of this bouquet, and you can easily do this, and so don't be all afraid to try something new and something different. So when you're looking at this and doing these petals on here, you are just making it look basically like a flower. I mean, naturally. See how beautiful that looks? And we need a few more of those. Again, we're up to 6 now, 6 stems or 6 blooms of cymbidium. which is not a lot. Cymbidiums, yes, a cymbidium can be expensive. It's a little more expensive than what, you would normally use for a flower. But a whole stem is, can be broken down into 15 to 20 blooms. So then again, it's not that expensive when you actually look at it in the whole process of making a bouquet. 6 stems of cymbidium to make a beautiful collar. To me, that's cost effective, but I still get a beautiful detailed look that not everybody in my town can do. So the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to let this dry for a few minutes. Again, set it off to the side. If you want it to tack up quickly too, sit it in your cooler, and that makes it happen a little bit faster for some reason. It's just the nature of this glue. So don't be afraid to try this glue out. It will stay, honestly. It will stay longer and tack up better than what you think it will. Don't be afraid to use new product. Again, use it, don't do it while you're off one afternoon, and just glue something that just for the fun of it, and see if it stays the next day and see how long it lasts. Again, trying out your product and making it work. Next, we're going to use these beautiful stems of gorgeous yellow Campanella garden roses. I think they're beautiful. I use garden roses every weekend, and I think they're absolutely beautiful. They're from Mayesh, and I use them all the time because I think they're gorgeous. My girls love that big petal count. This garden rose is fabulous. I love the whole line of Campanella colors. They're gorgeous. We're going to take off the foliage. It's another thing, processing your flowers correctly. Taking off the foliage, you can use your hands because they don't have any thorns on them, so I can use my hands on that and not get hurt. So, or you can, you can use your little cleaner that you can get, which I love these as well. For stuff that has thorns, this is a great product to use as well. So we're going to clean all those off. You don't need very many of these garden roses, so you only need a few of those, and we're going to French hand tie those. We're just going to take and hand tie these together. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stems of a garden rose. Again, very cost effective. Wow look, easy wow look. That's beautiful by itself. Yellow can be a little scary for girls. It's my mom's favorite color, so I love my mom, so gotta love yellow, I guess. No, I love yellow. It's a pretty color. It's a really pretty color. To me, it's sunshine. It's happiness. So we're taking that, and we're going to cut off the bottoms of those. And I clip the bottoms of my roses. I don't cut them with a knife because sometimes they can be a little woody, and it's hard to cut with a knife. So I'm taking this, and here is my wonderful collar, and I'm sticking the stems down through this collar. And then I use, not a lot of people do this, I use rubber bands. Another technique that is something I use, I learned a long time ago from a nice friend that uses this as well, but it's a rubber band. I find when using a rubber band to tie off my bouquets, I can add to my bouquets without hurting the integrity of the bouquet, without messing up the bouquet. As you can tell from my bouquet here, we finished off the bottoms with the throat. I'm not wasting any part of this flower. I'm using all of it. Again, I could throw these away and do something else different, but again, I have it already in hand. Why not use it? Be creative and use something that you already have. It's part of the stem. It's that beautiful yellow color, has a little bit of red, but again, it's on the bottom of the bouquet, but it's still really, really beautiful. So I'm gonna take my glue again, and I'm just gonna glue around my stems, really good. This is nice glue around here, and I'm gonna let it tack up. I'm gonna set that off to the side. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna cut off a little bit of the length off of the throat of the orchid, so it's not so long. And I'm gonna come and I'm just gonna take and attach a little bit of glue to the ends of those as well. Doesn't need very much. We've already got glue on there. This is helping just to keep that integrity of the bottom of this bouquet together. Again, when it's all signed, sealed, delivered, and dry, you have a very sturdy, very well-made bouquet. And again, mechanics is really huge. Mechanics is one of the biggest things that most people forget or don't do correctly when they make bouquets, when they make work in general. And so your whole design is on the line if you don't have good mechanics. Good mechanicking can make the difference between an arrangement falling apart, a bouquet falling apart, or something going drastically wrong with a bouquet. So mechanics are big to bouquets or in design work in general. So always be very aware of your mechanics. So we have those done. We're going to wait just a few seconds on that. And then we're probably going to need to gather a few more of the petals. Again, we're using a few more, not a lot. It ends up being about a stem of cymbidium all together. So that's not a lot of, that's only one stem of cymbidium, so that's not a lot of cymbidium. But, you know, again, if you have that college conscious bride, you can do something different. You can make the hole smaller in that collar and just use that. Or you can just do something a little different, you know, like I'm doing, and using your product. And look at the petals too, because again, the girls are looking at this and they're up close and personal with this bouquet, and you don't want your bride seeing bruised petals, messed up petals. You want them to see beautiful petals. Like this one's messed up. It has a little bit of a tear on it, so I'm going to throw it to the side. So now it's time, I think it's tacked up enough. We're going to take our wonderful little throats and push it around, and this is what's holding it in. And I'll be honest, when I was putting this together, I was going to use the throats in another capacity, but I saw that I needed some kind of bottom on my bouquet holder to hold it up to make it stay just perfectly level. And so instead of like going, oh gosh, what am I going to do? I just used these wonderful throats to hold this whole bouquet together. And again, just work it around. They stay nicely. And you got a nice tight bouquet. And look, it stays. And we're going to take a little bit of glue and add it to our petals again. And we're going to take these petals when they tack up a little bit, and we're going to put it on the bottom side and the top side of our bouquet to just finish it off. Again, it's all about that detail. As you can see from this bouquet, I finished it off beautifully. There's petals on this side, there's petals on that side, so it's beautifully finished off. So you get a very beautiful, tailored bouquet. So we're going to go around here on the top side of this as well. And we're going to glue stems, and on the top side, you want to be that wow designer in town that gives great customer service that's like, hey, look at my beautiful bouquet I've done for you without saying it. You walk in, you're confident, you have a smile on your face, you're matching your wedding, and you kind of go, here's your bouquet, give them a hug and a kiss, and congratulate them on their wonderful day. And then tell them that you can't wait for them to see the rest of the wedding. Make them excited. Again, it's up to you to create that sense of enthusiasm with your bride. And I know I'm waiting for just a second. Just blow it. If you don't have the time, you have a couple of I need like a few extra, so I'm gonna blow it. And I'm gonna wait for a second. I'm gonna wait for it to tack up. And again, if you don't have that time, you know, you can come back and pull on them and see. But see, there again, we finished it off really nicely. I don't see any glue. I don't see any crazy detail gone awry. I made add a little glue to push this back here. Again, we're fixing things before our customer or our bride sees them. I'm gonna fix that with my knife. Yeah, and my knife matches too. Again, detail. So here we are. We're at a point of we're being finished. But then I also noticed that I need a couple of more petals around in the holes where these garden roses are. They're such a big head that they create such a large hole. And you may think, well, Andy, that bouquet has ranunculus in it. Another trick of the trade. I was one day making a bouquet and I was hand tying ranunculus into a ranunculus bouquet, and I tried to do it correctly, but it never worked. And so finally I was like, it's for a photo shoot. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna instead of wiring and taping it, I'm gonna glue it into a bouquet. And so what I did is I took them all off. I made the most beautiful, round, gorgeous ranunculus bouquet. It was photographed, I brought it back, put it in my cooler, and a week later, it was still beautiful. These have been out for a day and a half. So ranunculus lasts a long time. I did not know that until that time. Again, just messing with my product, playing with my product, doing things after hours with my product, you know, makes a big difference. So now I glue all my ranunculus in. So now you don't have to like wire and tape and do all that stuff. You can glue the ranunculus in. This bouquet is all glued. To me, that's a cost-saving step, and it's also a frustration-saving tip. So when you're doing that, our bouquet here, we're going to take it and we're going to take a couple of our heads. These have been out. I was just trying to show you, the difference of using this product. Again, they only open up more. That's the beauty of ranunculus. I thought that they would wilt, but they don't. They just basically unfurrow more, which is gorgeous. I think they're beautiful. My girls love ranunculus. They come in asking me every time what those flowers are. And I'm like, oh, it's ranunculus, it's ranunculus. And they just want to know every time how to say it right. They want to tell their friends about it. It's another one of those flowers that girls love. Now in that bouquet, I've used like a pack and a half. Ranunculus is a little more of an expensive flower, but to me, that gives a little more depth. It gives it a little more texture to the bouquet. So we're gonna let that tack up for a second. And then we're just gonna glue these in really simply. Beautiful. And all this is doing is just coming around and just filling in our gorgeous bouquet. And just filling all the little holes of that bouquet. See? And it will stay. Just fix it where you want to fix it. And I've always wondered, I guess that's what people do in the industry do to, to finish off their bouquets. And you see in Bride's magazine, you see that wonderful, beautiful bouquet, and it's like, how's that stem there? That's how it's there. It's glued in. So we're gluing this in. So when we finish this whole bouquet, it's gonna look like this bouquet when it's finished. And I finished it off with a little bit of ribbon, very easily. I have a little technique I do with my ribbon. It's a little different. I don't use any pins. I tie it in a knot, not like with a knot, but I use it and tuck it back in. It's a great little process that I do. And I'll show you with this bouquet, and hopefully it's tacked up enough. I'm gonna turn it upside down. We have a little bit of our ribbon. You don't need very much, maybe about 12 inches is all you need. I'm gonna pull it tight. That's the whole preface in doing this and tying it off like that way, is pulling it really tight. And you gotta pull it tight and keep pulling it tight. And you leave a little tail on it like this. And you use a pair of scissors, and you go in between the stems and you tuck it in. And you can use your knife if you need to. You don't have to use your knife. Sometimes it will cut it. If you have a dull knife, it's fine. But I just take it and I shove that in nice with a pair of scissors. Really easily done. And there you go. I'm not using any extra product to make that happen. It stays, it's wonderful. They don't come apart. So again, another little trick to help you out and do stuff. You push that back in because it's not tacked up enough before I turned it upside down. But again, really, really, really easy steps to make this great bouquet beautiful. So when you finish your product, it should look like this. And I want you to take that bouquet and look at it, take it in your hand and just look at all the different dimensions of it, and then look at all the detail to it. Pull all your petals up to one place so it looks like a beautiful flower. So with that being said, I hope that this has taught you a little lesson today, and give you some great techniques that you can go back and you actually can use in your shop or in your studio. And I hope that I can be your 2013 Design Star, so I can inspire you to be the inner design star that you are. Thank you from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm Andy Hopper.